Next, using the calorimetric experiments, we are going to find internal energy change as well as enthalpy change. So two calorimeters we are going to study. One is bomb calorimeter, another one is coffee cup calorimeter. The experiments are called calorimetry experiments. Okay. So using these experiments, we are going to find heat changes. It may be a physical process or it may be a chemical process. Whatever it may be, the heat change can be measured. So we already studied C is equal to Q by M delta T. Isn't it? So what about the relationship between these two? Heat capacity and the temperature change, both are inversely proportional to each other. So using this relationship, we can find heat changes during a chemical change or physical change. The change in heat is going to be calculated. For that, we maintain two conditions. One is constant pressure. So calorimetry is done, or calorimetric experiments or measurements are done at two conditions: constant pressure as well as constant volume. Okay. First one, bomb calorimeter. So here we maintain volume as a constant. Okay. At constant volume, we are going to find heat changes. So internal energy change can be calculated. With the help of internal energy change, enthalpy change can also be calculated. Okay. First, we have a steel vessel. Okay. This is a steel vessel. The steel vessel is fitted with one more vessel. The steel vessel is fitted with another outer vessel using the screws, and this steel vessel contains a crucible, because we are going to have the reaction mixture in the crucible. Okay. So this steel vessel is called a calorimeter. It's called a bomb calorimeter. Okay. Within the steel vessel, we have crucible. A reaction mixture will be kept here. Okay. Then outside of this crucible, we have ignition coil. We have ignition coil. Next, the outer vessel is in a closed position, contains water. So now the bomb is kept in water bath. If a reaction mixture is heated, heat energy is produced. The produced heat energy will be transferred to water also, because steel is a heat and electrical conductor. So produced heat in the bomb will be spreaded to water also. So in the another vessel, we have water bath. So inner vessel is a steel vessel, which is called a bomb, contains a crucible with reaction mixture. To heat the mixture, we have ignition coil as well as ignition wire. So we have ignition wire. The inner as well as outer vessel are in a closed position, so volume is constant, no change in the volume, and this is kept in the one more outer vessel. This is made up of insulating material. Okay, so this is called the insulating jacket. Heat changes are prevented. So from this, heat cannot be coming out, as well as from outside, from surrounding, heat cannot be passed into this. We maintain volume as a constant, and the heat changes are also prevented. To ignite the reaction mixture, we have ignition coil as well as ignition wire. Next, for the change in the temperature, when the reaction mixture is heated using the igniting wire, when electricity is passed, it will be ignited, heat will be produced. The produced heat will make temperature changes. Okay. The temperature changes will be measured using a thermometer. It's called a Beckman thermometer. So Beckman is the name of the scientist. Then the produced heat will make temperature change. The heat should be transformed. It should be transferred throughout the water bath so that we have a stirrer. Okay. So we have a stirrer. When we stir it, the heat will be uniformly distributed. Okay. And for ignition, we need oxygen. So here we have oxygen supply. Okay. So this is the calorimetry experimental setup. So the inner steel vessel is called the bomb. We have substance here which is heated. So heat will be produced. It will make changes in the temperature. That is going to be calculated. So this is called a bomb calorimeter. Due to the ignition of substance, heat will be produced. The produced heat is in both inner and outer vessel. Inner vessel contains substance, outer vessel contains water. So the produced heat will be spreaded in both inner as well as outer vessels. So we take Q1, which is the heat changes in the calorimeter. It's called a bomb calorimeter. Heat changes in the water. So we maintain water bath. So sum of heat changes in the calorimeter and the heat changes in the water bath is called internal energy change. Okay. So this is heat changes in calorimeter. This is heat changes in water. By adding these two values, we can find internal energy change. Okay. So we already studied heat capacity. C is equal to Q by M delta T. We rearrange this formula. Q is equal to MC delta T. Isn't it? So we take heat changes in the calorimeter Q1. This is denoted as MCCC. This is mass of the substance in the calorimeter or mass of calorimeter. This is heat capacity of calorimeter, right? And this can be replaced by a constant called K. So this is called the calorimeter constant. Q1 is equal to K delta T. Due to heat changes, there will be a temperature change. Okay, Q1 is equal to MCCC delta T. Mass of calorimeter, heat capacity of calorimeter, change in temperature. This is replaced by a constant called calorimeter constant. Okay, how can we calculate this value? This calorimeter constant is calculated using a standard sample, benzoic acid. This is a standard sample. When we take calculated amount of sample in the calorimeter, so heat changes can be observed. So its a heat of combustion is minus 3227 kilojoule per mole. Okay. So this calorimeter constant can be calculated using the standard sample. Next to Q2, heat changes in the water. It's called MW CW delta T. Mass of water, heat capacity of water, and the change in temperature. So by adding Q1 and Q2, we can calculate delta U. Yesterday we studied enthalpy change is equal to internal energy change plus delta Ng RT. So the calculated internal energy change using the calorimeter experiment, we can find enthalpy change also. So we use calorimetry experiment. So delta H is represented as delta Hc, delta Uc. Next, what are the applications of bomb calorimeter? This is used to find heat changes. Bomb calorimeter is used to find heat changes in combustion reactions. If any substance is burnt, heat changes in the combustion is calculated. Next, calorific value of a food. We know that food provides energy. Okay, when we take carbohydrates, we get energy. So calorific value means how much enthalpy changes during when food is dissociated to produce energy. So for every food there is a calorific value. So it can be measured using bomb calorimeter. Third one, in industry. In most of the industry, we use bomb calorimeter to measure heat changes. So these are all applications of bomb calorimeter. So in bomb calorimeter, we maintain volume as a constant. Another calorimetric experiment is coffee cup calorimeter. So here we maintain pressure as a constant one. Instead of steel vessel, we take a cup. Okay. So the cup is styrofoam type of cup. This is actually insulated one. It will not allow the produced heat to come out, as well as from the surrounding heat cannot come inside. So this is acting like an adiabatic wall. Okay, so we take a cup. So here we have water bath, and in the inner vessel we have sample or reaction mixture. The principle is the same for both bomb calorimeter as well as coffee cup calorimeter. Instead of steel vessel, we take insulated cup. Okay. So reaction mixture is there, and which is in the closed position. Using the insulated stopper, we closed it. To stir, we have a stirrer. To measure the heat changes, that means the temperature changes, we have thermometer. So the same principle. When the substance is heated, it produces a heat changes, which is measured in terms of temperature change using the thermometer. So the same formula, Q is equal to mc delta T. Here we measure heat changes with the help of water. So mw cw, mass of water, heat capacity of water. We calculate heat changes with the help of temperature changes. Okay. Then what is the heat capacity of water? Molar heat capacity of water is 75.29 joule per Kelvin per mole. So if you know the mass and the temperature difference, we can calculate heat changes. Next to problem number 7.4. So consider a combustion reaction. Okay, so ethylene is burnt at 300 Kelvin we maintain volume as a constant. Heat of combustion is minus 1406 kilojoule. You have to find enthalpy of combustion. Okay, so we take the substance ethylene. The temperature is maintained as 300 Kelvin. The heat of combustion is minus 1406 kilojoule. Now we have to calculate enthalpy of combustion. Find enthalpy of combustion. So we write the combustion reaction. Ethylene gas is burnt in the presence of oxygen. It produces carbon dioxide gas and liquid water. So we have the formula to calculate change in enthalpy. Delta H is equal to delta U plus delta Ng RT. This is the formula. When we know these values, we can calculate this one. Internal energy change is already given in the question. R is the gas constant. Temperature 300 Kelvin. The only thing which we have to calculate is delta Ng. What is delta Ng? Delta Ng is nothing but number of moles of product minus number of moles of reactants. So here we have to consider only gaseous molecules. We should not consider liquid. So number of moles of products which are in gaseous phase, number of moles of reactants which are in gaseous phase. Okay, product side we have only carbon dioxide in gaseous state. Product side 2 here. Product side we have 2 moles of carbon dioxide in gaseous phase. Reactant side 1 mole ethylene and 3 mole oxygen, both are in gaseous phase. So 1 plus 3 4. So delta Ng value minus 2. Delta Ng value minus 2. So enthalpy change is equal to internal energy change minus 1406 plus delta Ng minus 2, gas constant 8.314 into 10 power minus 3, temperature 300 Kelvin. So enthalpy changes minus 1410.9 kilojoule. So with the help of calorimetry experiments, we can calculate this one. Next, what are the applications of heat of combustion? When a substance is burnt or when it undergoes combustion reaction, how much heat is produced? It is called the heat of combustion. With the help of heat of combustion, what can we do? First one, heat of combustion is utilized for calculating standard heat of formation of substances. Okay. Standard enthalpy change of formation of substances can be calculated. For this we can take methane as an example. So we are going to find standard heat of formation of methane. So in the question they have given heat of combustion of hydrogen, heat of combustion of oxygen, heat of combustion of methane. 3 values are given. So with the help of heat of combustion of all these, we are going to find standard heat of formation or standard enthalpy change of formation of methane is going to be calculated. Okay. For hydrogen, what is the heat of combustion? So we maintain standard conditions. So minus 285.8 kilojoule per mole. Then for oxygen, standard heat of combustion minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole. For methane, standard heat of combustion is minus 890.4 kilojoule per mole. Combustion of hydrogen, usually hydrogen is burnt, it produces water molecule. Next, not oxygen, carbon. Combustion of carbon produces carbon dioxide. When methane is burnt, so consider methane, when it is burnt, it produces carbon dioxide and water. So we are going to find standard heat of formation of methane. We already studied it. Enthalpy changes during the formation of a compound from its elements at a particular temperature and pressure, 298 Kelvin and 1 bar pressure. So this is calculated with the help of heat of combustion values. So hydrogen is burnt, how much heat changes? Carbon is burnt, heat changes. Methane is burnt, heat changes. All these are standard heat of combustion values. Okay. Now we may write formation of methane. How methane will be formed? When carbon combines with hydrogen, it produces methane. So this is methane formation reaction. So this is graphite, gaseous molecule, gaseous molecule. A compound is formed from their elements. The element carbon and hydrogen combines to produce methane. So we are going to find standard heat of formation of methane. We don't know the value, so we take it as X unit kilojoule per mole. So take this as equation 1. This is equation 2, equation 3, this is equation 4. All these are heat of combustion value. It says all these three are exothermic reactions, so that we get negative value. To find this value, first we are going to invert this equation, because this is the formation of methane equation, this is decomposition of or combustion of methane equation. When we observe equation 1 and equation 4, the methane molecule is in the right hand side here, methane molecule is in the left hand side here. Okay. So these two are in the inverted position. So equation 4 is inverted. Okay, we just rearrange it. Carbon dioxide gas plus 2 molecules of water produces methane and oxygen. So equation 4 is reversed. We take it as equation 5. Now compare equation 1 with 5. Methane is in the right hand side. Okay. So equation 4 is reversed. What about delta H value? When there is a combustion, the reaction is exothermic, so it liberates 890.4 kilojoule per mole energy. When we reverse the equation, it becomes endothermic. This is exothermic reaction. When we reverse it, it becomes endothermic. So for this formation of methane, how much energy will be required? The same magnitude with positive sign. So delta H is equal to plus 890.4 kilojoule per mole energy. The same value with the opposite sign. Okay. 890.4 with the positive sign. Okay. Now take this equation number 2. Now the equation number 2 is multiplied by 2. Equation 2 is multiplied by 2. Okay. You just multiply 2H2, O2 and 2H2. Okay. So we have equation 1, 3, 5. Equation 2 is slightly rearranged. Okay. Now add all these equations. We omit this one. We omit it because we have reversed it, isn't it? We just omit this one. So we have equation 1, 2, 3 as well as 5. The equation 2 is slightly rearranged because we are going to cancel all these molecules. Here we have only one water molecule. Here 2 water molecules. To cancel that, the equation 2 is multiplied by 2. We just add all these. Which molecules will be cancelled? Water molecule will be cancelled. Left hand side water, right hand side water molecule. Left hand side 2 oxygen molecules. Product side 2 oxygen molecules. Product side on carbon dioxide. Reactant side on carbon dioxide. Okay. Then what about remaining? Remaining carbon, hydrogen in the reactant side, product side of methane. Okay. So we add equations 2, 3 and 5. The equation 2 is slightly rearranged. This is multiplied by 2. So we cancelled similar terms. So remaining left hand side we have carbon and hydrogen, product side we have methane. Okay. So to get first equation, what we have done? To get first equation, second equation is multiplied by 2. Second equation is multiplied by 2. With this we add third equation and fifth equation. Second equation is slightly rearranged by multiplying by 2. With this we add a third equation and fifth equation. We get first equation. The same way we add heat of combustion values. Heat of combustion of second reaction minus 285.8. This is multiplied by 2. Heat of combustion of third equation minus 393.5. Heat of combustion of methane plus 890.4. So we get standard heat of formation of methane as minus 74.7 kilojoule. Okay. So what is the first application of heat of combustion? We can calculate standard heat of formation of substances. Second one, calorific value of food can be calculated using heat of combustion. Okay. So we already said calorific value is defined as amount of heat produced in calories when 1 gram of substance is completely burnt. Okay. So calorific value is nothing but amount of heat liberated when 1 gram of substance is completely burnt. So heat is expressed in terms of calorie. Okay. So calorie per gram or else joule per kilogram. This is the unit of calorific value. Okay, with this, calorimetry experiments and applications of heat of combustion over. Next one, heat of solution. What is heat of solution? We know that when a substance is added in a solvent, it will be dissolved. So the process is called what? Dissolution process. Sodium chloride is added in water. Sodium chloride is completely dissolved in water. So the process is called a dissolution process. Heat of solution means change in enthalpy when 1 mole of substance is dissolved in a specified quantity of solvent at a temperature. Okay. So during the dissolution process, how much enthalpy changes? Enthalpy change when 1 mole of substance is dissociated or dissolved in specified quantity of solvent at a particular temperature. This is called heat of solution. So many definitions I have given in our book. First one, heat of solution. Next one, heat of neutralization. This is heat of neutralization. You take a strong acid and a strong base. The reaction is called a neutralization reaction. We get salt and water. So strong acid and a strong base will undergo neutralization to produce salt and water. Enthalpy changes during the neutralization reaction is called the heat of neutralization. So we can define enthalpy changes when 1 gram equivalent of acid is neutralized by 1 gram equivalent of base at a particular temperature. Or else we may say enthalpy changes when 1 gram equivalent of base is neutralized by 1 gram equivalent of acid. So the reaction is neutralization reaction. Okay. When you take any strong acid and strong base, heat of neutralization value will be minus 52.32 kilojoule. You take any strong acid base. Instead of hydrochloric acid, you may take sulfuric acid or nitric acid. Instead of sodium hydroxide, you take potassium hydroxide and so on. For any strong acid and strong base, heat of neutralization will be minus 57.32 kilojoule. This is because of complete ionization. In 12th you will study the strong electrolytes will be completely ionized according to Arrhenius theory. Okay, so that the acid will give you H plus, OH minus will be produced by base, it forms water. Okay. So according to Arrhenius theory, strong electrolytes, it may be acid or base, will be completely ionized, so that heat of neutralization value will be same for all neutralization of strong acid with strong base. Next, molar heat of fusion. Take molar heat of fusion. So fusion is nothing but converting a substance from solid state into liquid state. Take ice. Ice is converted into liquid water exactly at 0 degrees Celsius or 273 Kelvin. So we can define molar heat of fusion as enthalpy changes when 1 mole of solid substance is changed into liquid at its melting point. So ice melts at 273 Kelvin. Enthalpy changes when 1 mole of solid is converted into liquid at its melting point. Next one, molar heat of vaporization. So vaporization is the process of converting liquid into gas. So liquid water is converted into steam at 100 degrees Celsius or 373 Kelvin. Molar heat of vaporization is defined as enthalpy change when 1 mole of liquid is converted into gaseous state at its boiling point. Okay. Next, molar heat of sublimation. So we already studied what is sublimation. The process of converting a solid substance into gas directly. Without forming liquid, gas is formed directly from the solid. You take iodine, camphor, naphthalene, ammonium chloride, many examples are there. You take iodine, solid, which is directly converted into gas or vapor at 373 Kelvin. So, enthalpy change when a solid substance is directly converted into gaseous state at sublimation temperature. Okay, this is called the molar heat of sublimation. Next one, heat of transition. Heat of transition. Transition is a change of physical state of a substance. We take carbon. Carbon exists in different allotropic forms like graphite, diamond, fullerene, graphene, and so on. So, heat of transition is enthalpy change when 1 mole of a substance is changed from one allotropic form into another allotropic form. You take carbon in diamond allotropic form, which undergoes a transition. Graphite. So how much enthalpy changes? Plus 13.81. So this enthalpy change is called a heat of transition. Many examples can be taken. Phosphorus, white phosphorus can be converted into red phosphorus. Sulfur can be converted from one allotropic form into another allotropic form, like monoclinic to rhombic. So many examples are there. So with this, today's class over. Tomorrow we start Hess law as well as lattice enthalpy. Thank you.